Yeah.
Welcome to episode 27 of the Geek Savants. I'm Dave Watch.
I'm super ugly.
Graham Miller.
Ryan Roberts.
Run.
Tell us your adventures in the woods. I'm very curious about your adventures in the woods. What did you guys do? Was it last week?
Grant, you go ahead and reveal the stories, and I will comment.
Okay, so last week was our annual guys camping trip, which John's never been on. It's usually
Dave and I made a kind of a pact to never go, but I broke that.
Yeah, I think that John likes to supplement those man trips with just singing in the shower about how manly he is. He doesn't need to go prove it out in the woods. All right.
We need some banjo music playing in the back. The background here. Little banjo.
For sure.
Yeah.
Or some blue. What's that bar in Police Academy? The Blue Oyster.
Blue
That's
Oyster.
what we need. Bum, ba, bum, bum, ba. All right.
So the campsite is way off the beaten path, and there's no running water. It's dry camping.
This shit is fucking. These assholes did not fucking tell me that this shit was like a half hour down a mountain on like a Indiana Jones fucking like road. It felt like, has everyone been on the Indiana Jones ride? Yeah, it felt like the Indiana Jones ride. Like that's how you going down it. Your car was like fucking. It was insane. Like at one point, I was like, dude, if I just my brakes lock up or something happen, I'm going right off the edge of this fucking thing because there was like downhill fucking slants that like were on gravel, which was fucking crazy. So they had me go down to this insane fucking mountain trail,
which is half the fun. But it's beautiful down there, right? In the valley?
It was really pretty. It was funny because we were by Groveland, Dave, which was right near your old cabin. And so it was, out that way. And then you go down into this deep ass valley and there's this dope river down there. It was really cool. And I mean, there were bathrooms, there were a porta potty at least. So, I mean, it wasn't like it was just out in the woods kind of a thing, but yeah, it was really fun. The campsites were free, but they were also like, good sized campsites with fire pits and everything.
How long were you there and how many people were you with?
We were there Thursday to Sunday.
Okay.
And in the beginning, so the first day, on Thursday it was me, John, Clay, and Kurt. And
that's a good crew. And then Jay came and ruined it.
And then the next day Jay came and ruined it. Yeah.
Okay, fair.
And so we just basically sat around, and drank, smoked weed, and sat in the river and bullshitted and had no wives, no kids, no nothing.
So
no inhibitions.
We went with our friend Clay, who, what's funny about Clay, I haven't hung out with Clay like in a while, but Clay is, as I said to Greg, a pontificator. He loves to fucking talk. And when he talks, it's like, he definitely could be a writer because he like fucking loves to expound on every little detail of stuff. And the other thing about Clay that I love is that every story of Clay's, it doesn't remind me of Dave in a weird way, but it's like every story of Clay's is the equivalent of Dave's I have an 8-inch dick like type of story. Like I banged 100 women. Like every Clay story is like, okay, let's just say Clay got pulled over by the cops. We've all gotten pulled over by the cops. It's no big. We're all kind of okay, yes sir, no sir, whatever. In Clay's story, it goes. So there I was. I got pulled over by the cops. So I say to the cop, yeah, you're not going to pull me over. You're going to let us go. Every story is he's the like giant hero in the story. Like there I was hanging out and these guys were being really mean to me. But then these other older Mexican guys took me under their wing and now I'm one of the old Mexican. It's like his stories are always so fantastical that it's like they never end with him just having a normal time. It's always him like everything becomes like the purest form of what it was to be, So it was fun hanging out with Clay because he's definitely a talker. The other thing that was fun about Clay, what's very strange about this group is that Clay, Jay, Clay, Jay, Grant, and Dave have all lived together at some weird. They've all crossed paths at some weird like thing. Well, yeah, it's so weird where like Grant and Dave live together, Clay and Dave live together, Grant and Jay live together, Grant have lived together. So they all had these weird stories. And the one thing that came out about Dave that I thought was really, there was not a ton about Dave except for, Dave. I will say the one thing I have to give Dave props on is, to a man, they all did talk about Dave getting a lot of booty. Although, I mean, it was never like, oh shit, Dave scored with that girl. It was always like, well, then like by the end of the night, Dave had that girl, and
Dave ended up with.
Dave ended up with that girl, so he fucked her. It was like, but I mean, I will give him props that it does give some credence to some of his numbers. I'm not gonna go with all, but it's some of his numbers. But what's funny about like Jay and
I've
Clay,
slowed down in the last week, John. Okay.
I know. So the funny thing about Jay and Clay was, to a man, they both also said that Dave DeWanch, our beautiful baby boy, Dave DeWanch, was a fucking slob and a half when he used to live with them. Like, he used to fucking like, they were like, dude, there were fucking cups full of butts of cigarettes around. Like, his room stank so fucking bad. And they were like, you were chewing tobacco at some point?
I mean, maybe, but barely.
And they were just like Clay was like, yeah, like my fiance or my soon-to-be wife would come over, and Dave would answer the door in his underwear and like a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Nothing. There were a lot of great Dave stories, except for one where he was like so wasted after a party that they ended up.
It was. I think it was Clay's
Clay's bachelor party.
Yeah,
which I saw pictures of. Dave. They had pictures of that party. Love Dave. Dave is a little thicker in it. He's thick Dave.
That was dangerous. That was a bad time, because the whole thing was they were like, Clay, was it Clay? It was Clay's bachelor party. They were like, you've got to finish this bottle of Yukon Jack. And so grenade and
said Dave like chugged the whole. They made him.
Dave was beyond gone.
They made.
I was beyond gone. Beyond gone. It was bad.
They said he ended up like he just went and laid in the middle of the street. It was just like, they were like, no, Dave, you can't lay down there. And they had to go pick him up out of the middle of the street.
So bad.
And then he just basically vomited all over people's cars as they drove him home. So that was,
I swear, I think that had to have been my worst drunk night. I've had several, but that one was
a good one. It's up there. Anytime you start the sentence with, and then I pounded that whole bottle of blank, that's always the sign of like a bad night right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, there was some good stuff coming out. Trying to think here. What
was your overall impression of just like the group, what we did, like because it's a different kind of camping experience than it is with like your family, which you do a lot.
So I know John is like, when he's in new situations, you're like, you kind of ease into these situations. You don't go awful like
yes, John was very reserved for John.
So let me get this one right though. So
I felt like I was pretty loose, but I'm glad I was reserved.
John was at first very thankful that Clay was talking as much as he was, because it meant that John didn't have to talk as much.
Right.
And then by the end of it, he was like, "Oh my God, I just need some fucking silence," because Clay's been talking the entire weekend.
The only sad thing that I really will say that, like, I'll give you my thoughts of the overall trip, but the one thing that I have to regret is that I don't remember as much stuff as everybody else does. Like, people talk about some of those days, those olden days, and be like, "Oh, you remember this? You remember that person? Or you remember that?" And I'm like, ugh, so much has happened to me since then that, like, a lot of those names go by the wayside. Another funny thing about Clay, I should mention that Clay has had sex. I hope he doesn't listen to this. Clay has had sex with, are you ready? 3 women in his life. One was his first girlfriend that he had that was like in high school. Second one was this girl that Dave and I went, Mariana.
I just said her last name and you said her first name.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll bleep that out. But so that was his second, And then, which by the way, Jay then hooked up with her right after him, which was a funny story. And then he married the next woman. So like, it's funny because Clay would be up there being like, I swear to God, Dave, he is Dave, but like this version. Okay. He goes, oh, there we are. You know, I'm in this restaurant and this girl like looks at me from across the room. And guys, she is so fine. And like, man, she's like, ooh, I want to fuck her so bad. And there she is. She's looking at me across the room. And I'm thinking like, ooh, I'm going to go home. And, you know, then she gets up and leaves. And I'm like, is that the fucking end of the story?
30 stories like that.
30. Yeah. At one point, Dave, you would have loved this. At one point, I said to Clay, I'm all, Clay, unless there's penetration in your story, I don't want to fucking hear it anymore. Okay. I'm like, no, seriously, he hit us with like 5 in a row where it was like, and then this girl wrote me this really dirty note. And I'm like, that's the whole climax of that's the climax of the story. Like that was it. A girl wrote you a note for God. What are we in high school?
Like, look. And here's the thing though, and I'm going to preface this by saying that John, it doesn't take much for John to get impressed. John jacks off to GIFs. So, all you needed was just a little bit more out of that fucking story.
I was like, yikes. I was like, brother, I'm like, you're sitting next to Grant over here. Grant, lay a real story on him for God's sake. It was like, holy shit.
The thing with Clay is he is, and Dave can attest, he is probably the most altruistic, like, good guy of anyone that I know. But there's a part of him
that wants to be Dave.
This Dave times 10. So
he does. He so wants to be Dave. It is so funny.
Yeah.
I love, like, it's funny hanging out with these guys because, like, Jay, who's this, like, cocksure, oh, I'm Jay, I'm so, I've got my shit together. I mean, you know, I look at Grant, and Grant has had much more carnal pleasures in life than Jay, but Jay walks around like he's just like Mac of the,
I think deep down, Jay is very insecure and very not. He just projects out this, like, tough guy cocksureness, you know?
He definitely was a little bit in terms of like when he would reveal how him and his daughter interact. I was like, this fucking guy acts like he's such a fucking tough guy, but he is such a fucking like not a tough guy.
I remember going to bars with those guys and just being like, I'm gonna go talk to these girls over here, and they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah. These girls over here, and I just go talk to them, and either I would fucking get a number or I wouldn't. It doesn't fucking matter. You're just passing the time. And these guys would not even be able to go talk to the girls. They would.
I don't want to, like, I'm not going to like talk shit in a sense. I'm not saying I'm talking shit, but it is like these guys, the 3 of them, they ended their lives at when they met their wives and married their wives. Like their lives, like basically were like, okay, from now on that is just it. Whereas like I look at like, I mean, Grant, me, even Dave, like it's like there's like more stories that happened, and then maybe we decided to like be a little more normal. But it's like those guys said we're gonna be normal like real early, and then just be normal. There's not gonna be a lot of craziness. We're not gonna all of a sudden have some wild story to tell. This is it. And so their wildness is between 18 and 22, and that's it. It's like 18 and 22. They could fill like 8 hours of talking over that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's senior summer, and then after that.
Oh my God, I was like, they were getting into all these stories. I was laughing. Oh, these are great. This is fantastic. And then I'm slowly realizing this shit was over in like 1994. Like your stories are done at like 94. It was crazy to me.
It's hot tub time machine at the campsite.
It is. Those guys love to reminisce. So anyway, my overall view was, you guys need to organize a little better. That was fucking a real clusterfuck of who brought what. Why was there so much food? Why didn't we just plan this a little bit? It was literally like 3 nights. I love like the campsite. I thought it was great. I thought it was fun hanging out with you guys. You know, I mean, I wasn't necessarily
room for a Geek Savants camping trip. Like if we were to go, should we go at a reception so that we could record?
Well, I mean, record audio. Yeah, we could record and then just sort of like post it when we get home.
Fair. Okay. All right.
No, it's fun. It was a good time. We were very old, and we were not staying up all night partying. Like nobody was fucking wasted. There wasn't Ed didn't come, so there wasn't like a wild card situation. So that without him, there wasn't as much like weirdness, I think. And
it was a little tamer. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, it basically was, it really honestly at certain points felt like a Geek Savants thing where it was just me interviewing Grant for everybody so that Grant could like tell some stories and I could just keep it going. Cause it's funnier when people kind of pull stuff out of Grant, but like, they would try and gloss over some of that shit. And I'd be like, wait, what did Grant just fucking say? He said something crazy. And so we would have to like kind of go over stuff.
So did anything happen on this trip where like you found out information about Grant that you didn't know about? Because I feel like every time we talk to Grant about his life, there's something we're like, wait, what?
There was some interesting stuff. There's stuff we can't get into. There was his relationship with his first, like one of his first serious girlfriends, Kim, which was very interesting. Kim, who looks a lot like the female version of Grant, which I thought was really a funny comparison. But that this motherfucker dated this girl, right? He meets her in San Jose. And then is like, I want to move back to Castro Valley. You got to fucking move to Castro Valley with me. And then she like moves all of her shit out to Castro Valley to be with Grant. And then like within a month you were done with her. You were like, I'm out. I'm done with this shit.
It was probably like 4 months, but
I remember those being some of the tensest times.
Oh, dude.
You until later, which then things more tense, but
it was funny because that was a super sneak preview of what was to come, right? I mean, it was like a lot of him being like, I need to escape this place, get me the fuck out of here, take me away from here kind of a kind. And like you go over there and there'd be a lot of yelling.
Much like the Lord of the Rings, they just got darker and darker as time went on. This
motherfucker Grant and like Jay and them are just like, you remember when we moved you out and she was just sitting on the steps crying and we had to crawl over her with your stuff. I was like,
oh my God, that was awful.
Awful.
Oh my God.
The rain.
Oh, okay. There was one good story though. Anyway, camping. Not bad, Dave. I did bring up to Grant, like, I wondered what Dave would be like out on this camping trip. Like what the vibe would be like with Dave here. Like Dave and Clay together would be an interesting dynamic. And like Dave and Jay together would be interesting.
Here's the thing though. Like when I'm around Clay, I am actually a lot quieter because he's so loud. I mean, it's not really a give and take conversation. It's more like wait for the space to speak and not, go back and forth like we do. So it is a little, I mean, I love Clay, don't get me wrong. But sometimes, like I said, you're really grateful that he's talking so much so that you don't have to. But then sometimes you're kind of like, fuck, I really want to talk right now. But,
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I don't know why. I mean, I don't think I was reserved in a sense. It's that I didn't want to come into your camping situation and try and like dominate it. And, I wanted to kind of like sit back and just watch you guys interact and see how you guys interact because you guys always talk about this camping trip and it's always like, oh, we can't wait to go on the camping trip. And so I wanted to be like, well, what's this camping trip all about? It was fun.
It sounds like it's bare bones, but did you guys bring like air mattresses and shit like that? Or did you sleep on
Grant?
So we normally, bring air mattresses. And I brought what I thought was my fucking air mattress. It turned out to not be an air mattress.
What was it? Some blow up doll? Some fucking like, what was
I wish that would have been more comfy. It was the rain cover for my fucking Jeep, which is the same color. Same fucking color as my air mattress and in the same type of bag.
This fucking asshole.
So then John, who's a fucking smart individual, brings two. I slept in my Honda Pilot and I brought two like mats, like two padded mats so that I would be very comfortable. So guess who had to give up one of his fucking mats to the 46-year-old who fucking forgot his air mattress and for the first night slept on the ground like a 9-year-old, for God's sake.
That was a little uncomfy.
Slept on the ground, for God's sake.
Oh my God.
What an asshole Grant is.
I know.
The other thing I want to mention is Grant was in charge of making them playlist for the camp for camping. Oh, guys, we could have a whole we could have a whole conversation about Grant's taste in music where
Please
it could go on for like
wasn't any like doo-wop in there.
It could go on for fucking his fucking playlist, like the music that was on there. That's a topic like in itself, like what Grant's taste in music is. We could break it up. But anyway, Grant was tasked with being in charge of bringing the music. So Grant has converted. This is also weird. He converted a cooler into a stereo, even though there's fucking Bluetooth speakers all over this world. They are literally everywhere. You could go to a 7-Eleven and buy a Bluetooth speaker. Grant makes a fucking speaker out of a cooler with a car stereo and a battery. What? They sell like $12 Bluetooth speakers. That would be just as fine.
It's way okay. So down by the river, it's really loud. And
down by the river.
Down by the river.
And Bluetooth, and we've tried it with the Bluetooth, and it's tough. So I made this. It's super duper loud. It's
okay. So
you
Grant
can't even turn it past 3. The battery, it's like a motorcycle battery, and it lasts for weeks without needing a charge. Okay. So the only bad thing about it is it's kind of heavy and bulky to carry around.
So and Grant doesn't use it's not like he put it into a Spotify playlist, or I made a mixtape or whatever. It's like
I did make a mixtape.
He's like, ooh, guys, I put 650 songs into this playlist. Okay, I'm gonna slow break through this. 650 songs into this playlist. Then Grant goes and says, but guys, I opened that file. I downloaded a randomizer program and then plugged the files into the randomizer so that it numbered every file differently. So there'd be no order that it was playing. It was playing in a totally random order. Okay, great. Then I'm going to put it on shuffle once I play it. And then why is it? Okay, so we're listening to this shit. Okay, Kashmir by Led Zeppelin plays once. Okay. First off, we're like, we don't want to hear fucking 1 million Led Zeppelin songs. Why does his fucking randomizer playlist play 9 Led Zeppelin songs in a row? How is that even possible? That's not even random. Then throughout the fucking trip, it kept playing the same songs over and over again. It was like the same 5 artists over and over again. He put like 25 Beck songs.
There were like 10.
There was like 20 Led Zeppelin songs. I heard the theme song to Greatest American Hero like 8 times, guys. Like the A-Team theme song like 10 times. You have 650 songs, Grant. How is it that they are like? How can you not make a good playlist?
So my only reasoning, this is my reasoning. By plugging the songs into this randomizer program, which puts a random number in front of each file name.
Okay.
Doing that then broke the shuffle algorithm of the car stereo.
It basically put everything back into order.
and then it was thinking so hard it drained the battery, and then no one got any music.
I don't know, but it was crazy.
There was
fucking shit.
This fucking thing. So he's supposed to just like press play, set it on the ground, good to go. The whole time, Grant got the opening of the thing open, and he's like sitting there with his finger on the skip button, because every time Kashmir came up, we would kill him. We would like yell at him like mercilessly. Like there was one night where we were like, "You can't fucking play 3 songs in a row without a Beck song or Kashmir." Yeah, we were betting on the fact that his fucking random playlist would not play this guy too, Dave. I mean, come on. We're talking like, first off, we got there. Insane Clown Posse starts playing. I'm like, what the fuck, Grant? Get the fuck. So I was like, I do not want to ever hear that at the rest of this trip. If I hear that again, I'm gonna be so pissed. Then it's like Zeppelin, AC/DC, of course, Van Halen, Van Hagar, fucking Rat, Tesla. I mean, Grant.
No reason to put Tesla on any playlist ever.
Dude, he had like 4 Tesla songs. He had like more than one Tesla song.
You know what? Honestly, I really had a pretty eclectic playlist.
I heard the same shit.
I don't know why it kept playing the same shit. So I had Black Cat on there.
Yes.
And I was fucking dying for that to come up, because Jay's
so was I. It's a good song.
It is. It's a great song. And Jay's always giving me so much shit about it because I'm a pussy, because I liked it in high school. And so
what the fuck is Black Cat?
By Janet Jackson.
Oh, okay.
And so I purposely put it on. Dude, if he had heard it, he would have like he would have attacked the fucking cooler.
No. And what I think I figured out is that, and it's really the worst of all of it is, and it really digs deep into Grant's psyche. We figured out, I think, is that Jay said, Grant, I don't want to hear any of these songs. And he listed off all, I don't want to hear Zeppelin. I don't want to hear Pink Floyd. And I swear to God, in Grant's brain, he was like, I'm going to fill this whole playlist with Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, every song that Jay hates.
Hey, John, there's 6,500 tracks on this this playlist, but only 5 songs.
I got Dave. I'm not going to lie. I honestly feel like he did that. Like we were like, okay, so you said you put 8 Led Zeppelin songs on here and it's on random, but Kashmir keeps playing over and over again. I'm like, did you put 8 versions of Kashmir on here? I'm like, how is this possible?
This is what I'm going to do. Before this, or by the time this episode airs, I'm going to screenshot in Windows Explorer the list.
There's your problem.
So you can go in and see all the songs that are there and how it's randomized, and I'll just post that shit up.
Grant, quickly, when making a playlist, you don't need to put 100 songs by the same artist in there. You could put different songs. You just put like maybe 2 songs by an artist. That's it. Any more than that, it's not a playlist anymore. It's now like a compilation of like this person's catalog. Okay, like you cannot just put 20 Beck songs in there and nobody's going to notice.
Yeah, that's the greatest hits.
That's it's like, oh, I just put every song I own in there.
You don't want that to happen, though, John.
What?
You actually don't, because this is why Grant is so interesting, because it would never happen to anybody else.
Dude.
And this is why Grant has stories, because only Grant would build his own cooler, speaker system. He's the only guy that would put a randomizer on 650 songs, and then somehow this whole thing becomes... You heard like 10 songs the whole time.
He blamed blamed it on the fucking, get this, guys. He said it was the algorithm's fault. What algorithm?
I mean, this guy...
Somebody made the shuffle algorithm.
He just got his own ambulance or fire truck or whatever the fuck that is. This is Grant.
I got to stop. We have to go. We're all fucking, of course, this has gone way too long. But Grant, do you think you can knock out that couch story real quick? It's incredible.
Okay.
You guys got to just give us another 8 minutes. I promise this story's worth it. There's the fucking cooler right there.
That's the river we're sitting in.
Yeah. All right. So Grant, real quickly, you were dating this girl, Kim,
right?
And her parents asked you to watch their house. First fucking mistake. Their parents were leaving with Kim to go to a funeral across the country. And they said, Grant, you're our daughter's boyfriend. Please watch our house. Okay. So what did you decide to do when they said, Grant, please be responsible and watch our house? What did you think in your mind immediately?
Party time. It was so real quick. Okay, I won't even go into the first night. So the second day, I stay there after work, stay the night. Stuff happens. Then and I swear to God, we've talked about this.
This is a tale for another day.
Okay. Yeah. So then the next day, it's a Saturday, and I'm horny, and this is like 93, I think, 1993.
Day, by the way, he said Saturday, not Saturday night. Saturday.
I mean, it's like literally in the day for anything. It's Saturday. I'm horny.
I'm by myself. And I know that there's a video store several blocks away, because I've been there before, and I've got a membership, and there's a little room in the back, and I had to wait. It was early enough to where I had to wait till they were open, so it was probably like 10 or 11 in the morning. So I ride my bike over there, and I pick out like 3-4 videos. And from the back room,
4 videos, by the way,
and I
could get it off on a GIF. This dude needed 4 videos.
So
yes, Brian, hand clap. Yes.
Hand clap.
So I take my videos and I ride my bike home or to her house, and I get a towel. And put it down on the couch.
Okay.
I've got some kind of lube.
Okay.
So normally I'm a dry guy, but like lube is like a special occasion. That's like when you really want to go a marathon or, you know, have a really good time for a long time. So I've got it set up. I've got the movies like laid out on the coffee table in front of me. I pick the order that I want to watch them, and I've got my towel down.
Then you stick them in your randomizer.
I did. I'm buck naked.
There it is. There it is, everybody. That's what I needed you guys to hear. This is where the story gets completely sideways into Grantland. Grant, repeat that statement again.
I'm stark buck naked, and I'm very comfy. I'm comfortable, right?
I mean, you're going to make everyone uncomfortable when those parents come home during this, but continue.
No, they're not. They're way far away. So I'm like totally at my leisure, you know, putting a video in one, and I'm probably on the second video. I for sure am through the first one, and I've been doing my thing. I'm having a fucking banner time, right? All of a sudden, there's a fucking knock at the door. Simultaneously, there's a key entering a deadbolt at the same fucking, like I hear a knock and a deadbolt at the same time. And I'm like, oh shit. And so the front door, there's the front door, and then there's a straight hallway, and then the room that I'm in. And it's like, it's all like, you only have to walk in like 5 feet before you can kind of see into where I'm at, right? So I know someone is coming through the fucking door within seconds. So I am unable to operate the remote with my greasy hands at this point, right? But I'm trying my best. I
just keep squirting out of my hands. I can't hold this fucking remote.
Yes, totally. I cannot, for the life of me, turn off the TV or the video. Like I cannot. I'm unable to fucking do it.
So did you smash the VCR?
I was almost there. So it was all I could do to bundle. We're talking. I'm doing all of this within 2 to 3 seconds. I'm trying to do the remotes. At the same time, I'm trying to gather up the paraphernalia, the lube, the towel, and the videos that are splayed out, right? And it's not just like it's the videos and the cases for the videos, because they're all out. It's like a lot of stuff, right?
This seems like that Jonah Hill thing.
It was all I could do with my naked butt hanging out, like go through the house with this bundle to go around the corner all the same time, this old dude who I now know is the neighbor comes in to check on the house. Then I'm fucking watching. Like, why are you here, dude?
Yeah. Why are you here, asshole?
Yeah. Totally ruining things.
At my girlfriend's parents' house, checking on it. So it's not like there'd be a guy ass naked masturbating on the couch.
What a dick. So I made it around the corner, and he sees everything.
No.
The video is still fucking playing. and he's like, and he said something like, "Oh, hey, I was just checking. I'm sorry. Okay, bye," and like leaves. And I from around the corner, I'm like, "Okay, thanks." And I waited for the door to close, and I went right back to it.
Oh my. Okay, guys. So the only reason I mean, that story's incredible. It's incredible, but I have to go back to something. I jack off, guys. I want to admit something to you. I jack off. Okay, Dave, you jack off. I want to admit that to everyone too.
Sure.
Guys, we all do it. I don't know if I mean, maybe once or twice can I actually say, you know what I did? I got butt ass naked and did it. I did. I just like, I had to take off everything. I had to be stark naked. I couldn't have underwear around my ankles. I couldn't have a shirt on. I couldn't have like my pants down around I had to like take off. Like, Grant, you were in a stranger's house and what if they had cameras?
This is 93. There's some
okay.
cameras.
So then you're like, I lay the towel down so my ass stains don't get all over their couch, by the way. My chocolate butter all over their couch.
Or jizz or whatever.
Yeah, the lube drip that's coming off of you at this point. And then also I thought was comical was that you got 4 videos. Like, and you were working your way through them. You're just going to work your way through the big day for Greg. You're going to work your way through 8 hours of porn.
That was session 1. I needed 4 to last, at least a full day.
Before we end this, because we have to end it soon, I'm going to go full circle. And now I have the answer to how Grant watches all of the shit that he's been watching. Because he just sits there and just experiences the world through the TV.
I know. Grant, how'd you watch The Boys? Guys, I got a towel. Lube. Lube. Usually I go dry, but I went got lube. Oh my God, guys. So yeah, that was the story from the camping trip that he says he's told that story before.
I swear I've told it.
Has anyone heard that story before?
Yeah.
He did?
I remember that, yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, but it was years ago. It was like
that was a long time ago.
I do be smoking a lot. I forgot. And it's good. The good thing about smoking weed a lot is I forget his stories. So then when he tells me again, it's like the first time. So that was incredible.
All right. Well, hey, where can they find us, John?
Oh man, in a fucking loony bin with this guy. This guy. Geez. That was how. Hey, that was Grant. Fucking. That was how Grant. When he got hired by Tesla, they were like, "Tell us the time when you had to solve a problem. You were caught in a circumstance where you had to solve a problem." Well, let me tell you about the time I was butt ass naked and I had to pick up my fucking videotapes and shovel them into a bathroom. Oh God! And Grant didn't even finish, but like the guy came in and Grant just hid in the bathroom the whole time, right?
Yeah. He wasn't there long.
I'm okay. It's just me, the boyfriend.
Everything's fine.
I'm okay. Don't mind fucking midget porn on the video player right now or whatever the fuck you were watching.
Thank God there was nothing crazy going on.
But yeah, God, besides all that, there was nothing crazy going on. That's for sure. Yeah, thank God there wasn't a naked man jumping up.
The worst part is Grant has told a story where very similar to this, only it was a ghost. Grant loves to get
That's what I said.
naked.
Like, I asked him, I said, Grant, how many fucking masturbation stories do you have, for God's sake?
Limitless.
All right, boys.
Masturbation stories.
Well, this was supposed to be a nice short episode. It turned out to be 2 hours. We're good.
We can always cut them in half if we want.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Sure.
All right.
All right, boys. Have a good week. I'll talk to you guys on the old texting machine. Bye.
Bye.